Hi everyone, it's Kel. I hope you're doing well. Someone had a really good question that I want to talk about today, and that is, after we do the Kundalini, are we completely clear or do we go back to the dormant state? I don't really know what you mean by dormant state because our bodies are always in flux. They are always being reborn at the cellular level and dying, and there's everything is in cycles with different gestation times. But the clearing part I do understand, and the answer is yes and no. For example, when I did the Kundalini, I did it in an extreme unbalanced state, but I was extremely fit and extremely focused. And now that I've come back and come into my right nonsensical thinking, you go through the period of, oh, I am God. And once you get over yourself and you come back to normalcy and realize you're just someone like everyone else, you still have work to do. At least I did. I didn't stay with meditation. I stayed with it for a bit and then I fell out. But as a daily practice, I did not stay with it. And I really wished I had. But a lot was going on at that time, or whatever my excuses are. So I have a lot of clearing to do. And some of that clearing, like I just came back from a somatic healer just half an hour ago, and some of the clearing that you do, you're not really even conscious of what's happening within your body. And sometimes you can have a clearing and you think, oh, well, nothing happened there. And then you don't realize, till a couple of weeks later, wow, I do feel better and things are kind of righting themselves. So we always want to work on ourselves regardless, and that because it just makes for a more blissful life. I mean, if you go at it with joy. There's that old saying, chop wood, carry water, chop wood, carry water, chop wood, carry water, have transcendence, then chop wood, carry water. And so that's where I'm at. I'm back to chopping wood and carrying water and working on myself. And the working on yourself is aligning your thoughts, deeds, and actions to all be integrated, because you want to always integrate the parts of your being. So, and to further elaborate on that, it would be like living two separate lives and trying to bring them together so that you can live in more harmonic union, because what is happening on the outside of you is reflected on the inside of you. So, I mean, it takes a very strong person to be able to handle a chaotic outside and have a constant inner state of peace, yet people do it. People do it. And some people do it very, very well. So that's where that's where we ultimately all want to be. Regardless of circumstance, we always want to be vibrating in our absolute truth. And when we are vibrating in our absolute truth and our most authentic selves, that's when all the parts of our being really integrate. And that integration, you know it because you feel good. And that's really the state of love. It's the same thing. When you're in a state of love, you're integrated and you feel good. But maintaining that state is the tricky deal. Maintaining high states of deep compassion is the tricky deal. But ultimately, at some point, we're all going to be doing it. So how can you help yourself today? Well, it actually, it really starts with, the basics, and that is nutrition and exercise and good daily habits on repeat. And just working at it incrementally is what I have found to be my greatest challenge, but it works the best. Incrementally works the best because you're making a brick for tomorrow and next year and the year after that, and so on and so forth. So working small at creating really good, healthy habits and working on your thoughts, words, and actions is critical. When your thoughts, words, and actions are in a balanced state, all they do is reflect truth, your authentic truth. And then that is your vibration out, and then that is reflected back to you, and ultimately the world around you becomes that. That is the way it works. But it doesn't work overnight because we're dealing with the mother energy, and she's slow to change, but it happens. The father energy can change overnight because he's malleable, he's creative. The mother energy, which is the great one that you want to be aligning with, is like a slow moving stream in some cases, but you're in that stream, and fighting against it, you can't, because it's like fighting against a river of molasses. There's just no way you can fight against that river. There is just no way. It will overcome you. So getting into states of points of least resistance is critical. Least resistance is tricky, but the more you practice it, the easier it becomes. But that doesn't mean becoming a doormat. It means finding boundaries and balance and becoming your authentic self. And that is the critical thing. You becoming your authentic self. Your greatest love affair is going to be with you. That is number one. And putting your focus on you and forgetting really what other people are doing. I mean, that's a tough one, I know. But forgetting about what other people are doing and really worrying about what you're doing, what's important to you, where you're headed, what you need. And forget about, well, I have to be this way because I'm relying on this from that person. It actually doesn't work that way. When you say, okay, when you surrender, okay, fine, I've just got to be my authentic self, and this is just the way it is, regardless of all these connections, all these things I have going on, the universe aligns with you like boom, and things start working out even better than they did before. And you've probably all had experiences of that. So the working on ourselves, it's a day-to-day thing, and it's not, it's not just working on ourselves to clear our bodies. It's working on ourselves, and as our body clear, we become happier and happier and happier. It's just naturally happens, and it becomes a fantastic thing. So working on yourself is good, and honoring yourself and believing in yourself. I mean, these things are pivotal and so important. And I know that words are cheap, but at the same time, it's the best way to convey this to you, convey these thoughts to you, and the critical importance of everyday, moment to moment, finding your way through this sometimes crazy life. I mean, where sometimes there are massive injustices. I mean, we all have seen that, especially in the last few years, and trying not to log onto it and keep a sour face about it, but going back to focusing on ourselves and doing our own thing, like riding our own bike, and keeping it real to you, keeping it real to become the best authentic version of yourself that you can become, because that's what makes you happy. And that is where the realness of life is. Being as real as possible, then you attract other real people and other real situations, and have a kind of exciting life where you're experiencing real things, not anything that's simulated. You're really in the guts of Earth, having dramatic experiences, or just experiences that really resonate with your being. And that's what you want. That's a life to live. That is a life to live. Of course, I understand there was a time where I wanted, to go to the Wu Mountains and just meditate in bliss and leave all the world behind, but that wasn't in the cards. And so then you come back to life after your transcendence, and you can't fight against it, or you have breakdown like I did. You got to throw yourself into it. You got to go, okay, like Joseph Campbell said, this is the grand opera and here I go. Throw yourself into it, but never forget that it's all about you, your authentic self, your point of focus, what you want, having authentic goals, practicing your meditation daily, twice a day is ideal, in the morning and at night, to get really clear on what's good for you. And doing this helps you align your mind, align your deeds, align your thoughts and actions, and clears out your body. Little by little, we want to be clearing out our body mind. And there are some practices by, there's so many, by certain gurus of different sects. I was reading one the other day where they put all these little bits of cloth together and they swallow them, this huge line of cloth, and then they pull it all up. And that whole point of doing that is cleansing the stomach out. Of course, there's other ways to do it. We can choose those other ways. Less invasive, sometimes even enjoyable, like going on a water fast, or, there's a plethora of different ways to cleanse the body. But cleansing the mind is really critical, because it's when the mind is not in alignment that it creates malady inside of you. And when that malady happens, it breaks away from the rest of the being. So you can be very fragmented. You can be a great person, but you can be very fragmented. And what we want to do, and the Zodiac Code, we will go through that, can help to bring you into alignment. Good body-mind practices, and always trying to stay authentic, simplifying life, really bringing it down to the basics, and really working moment to moment, day to day, on creating excellent habits and not getting too caught up in the future, trying to live in the now, and remembering the past, but not living back there. This can all help cleanse out the body. I think I mentioned it, but today I had an appointment with a therapist, and we did some sort of hands-on somatic healing, which was really interesting, because you can shed through that practice, through doing somatic practices, and not even know what you're shedding. And that can be some really deep stuff that either the mind doesn't want, the body doesn't want it to bring it forward to frighten the mind, so it keeps it hidden in the body. But somatic practices can sort of hunt it out and bring it out without traumatizing the mind. Also, you can be having somatic experiences and simultaneously remember things that were traumatic, and what happened and how come, or what you thought it was, and somehow have the two together help you cleanse, bring that period in your life to sort of fulcrum, because it's in arrested development, right? That's why you're fragmented. But to complete the circle by understanding and release, you can do that too. There are just so many things you can do. But at the end of the day, you know what's best for you. And if you don't know what's best for you, then just sit quiet for a moment because your body's going to tell you what's best for you. And that's what meditation is for. And just go with it. I think I'll go and do this somatic practice today. Or no, I think I'll go and I'll do this cognitive behavioral therapy today. I think just kind of go with it and play with it. And, sometimes you get it wrong, but a lot of times you get it right. And it just takes you that little itty bitty bitty steps forward, and pretty good. Pretty soon you start feeling good. And this sort of focus on yourself and making yourself number one, it feels good. And, in this world where we've got all these demands we're trying to meet, and people we're trying to please, and things we're trying to do, to just make life simplistic and try to slow it down a bit, not worry so much about all these other things, and bring the focus on you. Gee, I'm feeling a little stressed in this moment. I think I'll sit down and have a cup of tea. Moment to moment is where you want to focus. And then you really get into the stream, and the stream is good. So I hope that answered your question. I see I've been talking for quite some time. If it didn't, please let me know below if you want to be more particular about it, and maybe I'll have something to say about it. So thanks again for being here. I hope this helped. And again, focus on yourself. It's all about you becoming the superhuman, authentic version of you. Have a good night. Bye.